Before you scroll away, stop for 1 second because what happened between Shen Yue and Dylan Wang on the set of in 2026 was not just another behind-the-scenes rumor. It was the exact moment fans realized something had completely changed between them, and if you stay until the very end you're going to uncover why one wall of silence left Dylan Wang looking more desperate than anyone had ever seen before. So subscribe right now and stay with every moment because this story unfolds in a way that will leave you stunned long after it ends. The atmosphere on the set of in 2026 had always been lively, warm, playful, comfortable. Crew members often described the environment as relaxed whenever Dylan Wang and Shen Yue were together. There was always laughter, always conversation, always some kind of energy surrounding them. That was what people expected. That was what everyone had grown used to seeing. But this time something felt different from the beginning. Not obvious at first. Just small changes. Small enough that most people ignored them. Shen Yue arrived earlier than usual that morning. Quiet. Focused. Not cold. Not angry. Just distant. The kind of distance that does not announce itself loudly, but slowly changes the entire atmosphere around it. Crew members greeted her the way they always did. She smiled politely, responded softly, then moved toward her position without saying much else. At first no one thought anything of it. Long filming schedules can exhaust anyone. People assumed she was tired, distracted, focused on the scene ahead. But then Dylan Wang arrived, and everything shifted. Normally the moment he entered the set there would be immediate interaction between them. Some joke, some teasing comment, some natural exchange that instantly changed the mood around everyone. But not this time. Dylan greeted her casually, expecting the usual response. Shen Yue looked at him briefly, then looked away. No smile, no reply, nothing. The silence was small, but it landed heavily. People nearby noticed it immediately, not because it was dramatic, but because it was unfamiliar. Dylan Wang seemed confused at first, not visibly upset, just surprised, as if he thought maybe she had not heard him. So he tried again later, during makeup preparation. A lighter comment this time, something playful meant to break the tension. Again she remained quiet, not rude, not dismissive, just silent. And that was when people began paying closer attention, because silence can sometimes feel louder than shouting. As filming started, the tension became impossible to ignore. Their scenes together still looked professional, still convincing. But between takes, everything changed. Shen Yue stayed focused on scripts, on directors, on crew instructions, anything except Dylan Wang. He, on the other hand, kept trying. Small conversations, light jokes, quick comments meant to create some reaction. But every attempt met the same response. Silence. And slowly the confusion on his face turned into something else. Desperation. Not dramatic desperation. Not loud, but visible in the way he moved around her. Visible in the way he kept trying to catch her attention. As the day continued, the atmosphere on set became strangely uncomfortable. Crew members spoke quieter. Assistants exchanged looks with each other. Even the director seemed aware that something unusual was happening. One moment changed everything. During a break between scenes, Dylan Wang walked toward Shen Yue while she sat reviewing notes alone. People nearby could hear him speaking softly, trying to ask if something was wrong, trying to understand why she was avoiding him. Shen Yue listened quietly, then stood up without answering, and walked away. That moment sent shockwaves through the entire set, because no one had ever seen her behave like that toward him before. Dylan remained standing there for several seconds after she left, completely still, not angry, not frustrated, just stunned, as if he could not understand how things had changed so quickly. The silence continued into the next filming day, and somehow it became even heavier. Dylan Wang looked visibly different now, less energetic, more distracted. Crew members noticed him checking his phone repeatedly between scenes, watching Shen Yue from a distance, waiting for some sign that things would return to normal. But nothing changed. Shen Yue remained calm, professional, focused, yet emotionally unreachable. Fans visiting the filming location also noticed the tension. Videos leaked online showing Dylan trying to speak to Shen Yue while she quietly walked ahead with staff members beside her. The clips spread instantly. People analyzing every movement, every expression, every glance. The internet exploded with theories. Some believed they had argued. Others thought there was a deeper issue hidden behind the silence. But no one truly knew the reason. And that mystery only made the situation more intense. One evening after filming wrapped, something unexpected happened. Rain began pouring heavily across the outdoor set. Most people rushed for cover. Equipment crews scrambled to protect cameras and lighting. In the middle of the chaos, Dylan Wang spotted Shen Yue standing alone near one of the trailers, watching the rain silently. For several seconds, he hesitated, then walked toward her slowly. The atmosphere around them felt frozen. Even the noise of the storm seemed distant compared to the tension between them. When he finally reached her, his voice sounded different than before. Quieter, more serious, not playful anymore. He asked her directly why she was shutting him out, why she would not even look at him the same way anymore. For the first time, Shen Yue responded, but not emotionally, not dramatically, just honestly. She told him that sometimes silence says more than words ever can. The sentence hit him harder than anyone expected, because he understood immediately that this was not random. This was intentional, a choice. And suddenly everything became real. Dylan tried explaining himself, tried asking what he had done wrong, tried reminding her of everything they had been through together. But Shen Yue simply listened quietly, then looked at him with an expression that completely changed the atmosphere. Not anger, not sadness, disappointment. And disappointment is often harder to face than anger. She told him that some people only realize the value of connection when they feel its absence. Then she walked away again, leaving Dylan standing alone in the rain as crew members watched from a distance in complete silence. That image spread online within hours. Fans calling it the most emotional behind-the-scenes moment of the year. People debating endlessly about what had truly happened between them. Some blaming Dylan, others defending him, but everyone agreeing on one thing. The bond between them had changed. The final days of filming carried a completely different energy. The playful chemistry fans once adored had disappeared behind a quiet emotional distance that everyone could feel. Yet strangely, their scenes together became even more powerful on camera. Every emotional exchange felt real. Every silence between their characters carried genuine tension. And that only blurred the line between acting and reality even further. On the final filming day, Dylan Wang made one last attempt to reach Shen Yue before wrap-up. Not publicly, not dramatically, just privately. He apologized for whatever pain he may have caused without realizing it. And for the first time in weeks, Shen Yue smiled slightly. Not fully, not enough to erase everything, but enough to show that the silence had finally been heard. That moment did not fix everything instantly, but it changed the ending, because sometimes understanding matters more than perfect resolution. The cast gathered together later that night for the final celebration dinner. People laughed again. Music played softly. The atmosphere finally lighter than before. And during one quiet moment, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue exchanged a brief look across the room. No words, no dramatic gestures, just understanding. And somehow that felt more powerful than anything else that had happened. Because in the end, the silence was never about hatred. It was about distance, about emotion, about making someone feel the weight of what had been lost. And now the only question that remains is this. When someone stops speaking to you completely and leaves you alone with your own thoughts, is that punishment, or is it the strongest form of honesty someone can give? If this story made your heart race and you want more emotional drama stories like this, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who understands that sometimes silence can destroy a person far more deeply than words ever could. The silence between Shen Yue and Dylan Wang should have ended after that night in the rain, but if you stay with the story until the very end, you're going to understand why what happened next on the set of the in 2026 completely changed the way everyone saw their relationship forever. The morning after their conversation felt strange from the very beginning. Not tense in the same way as before, but uncertain, as if everyone on set was waiting to see what would happen next. Crew members moved carefully around them. Conversations stayed quieter than usual. Even the director seemed more focused than normal, because everyone had seen the emotional distance between them grow over the past days. And everyone knew something important had shifted the night before. When Shen Yue arrived that morning, she looked calm again.
Composed.
Professional. But there was something softer in her expression now. Not obvious enough for everyone to notice immediately, but enough for Dylan Wang to see it the second she walked onto the set. For the first time in days, he hesitated before approaching her, as if afraid of pushing too hard again, as if afraid of making the silence return. The first scene they filmed together that day required emotional closeness. A quiet conversation between their characters under warm lantern lights inside the inset. The atmosphere during rehearsal became almost unreal, because the emotions between them no longer felt entirely scripted. Every look carried tension. Every pause felt meaningful. And when the camera started rolling, something unexpected happened. Dylan Wang forgot one of his lines. Something that almost never happened. The entire set froze briefly. But instead of frustration, Shen Yue reacted differently than anyone expected. She smiled softly, not dramatically, not teasingly, just gently. And for the first time in days, Dylan Wang smiled back. The shift in atmosphere was immediate. Crew members exchanged relieved looks with each other. The tension that had controlled the set for nearly a week suddenly felt lighter. Not gone completely, but changing. During a lunch break, something happened that instantly reignited online speculation. A staff member accidentally captured a short behind-the-scenes clip showing Dylan Wang quietly handing Shen Yue a warm drink before walking away, without saying anything. The clip lasted only seconds, but fans replayed it endlessly, because the interaction felt careful, delicate, almost fragile, as if both of them were trying to reconnect without fully knowing how. The internet exploded again. People calling it the reconciliation moment everyone had been waiting for. Others saying the emotional tension between them now felt stronger than before. And strangely, that emotional distance had made fans even more invested in their connection. As filming continued over the next few days, the silence slowly disappeared. Not suddenly, not through dramatic conversations, but through small moments, shared smiles, quiet conversations between takes, short exchanges that gradually brought warmth back to the set. Yet something remained different. The playful energy they once had never fully returned in the same way. Instead, it became deeper, more careful, more emotionally aware. Almost as if both of them now understood how easily things could break if they stopped paying attention to each other. Then came the final emotional scene of the drama. The one everyone on set had been talking about for weeks. A farewell scene between their characters filmed late at night under soft snowfall effects. The script required Dylan Wang's character to stop Shen Yue's character before she walked away forever. The director expected multiple takes because of the emotional intensity. But what happened stunned everyone. The moment the cameras rolled, the emotion between them became so real that the entire set fell silent. Dylan Wang's voice trembled during his lines. Shen Yue's eyes filled with tears before the scene even reached its climax. And when he finally grabbed her hand in the final moment, neither of them immediately let go after the director yelled cut. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the crew remained completely silent for several seconds, because the atmosphere felt too real to interrupt. Some staff members later admitted it was the most emotional filming moment they had ever witnessed. Not because of acting, but because of the emotional truth behind it. After filming wrapped that night, the cast gathered together for the final celebration dinner. The mood was emotional but warm. People laughing again, sharing memories from production, taking photos together. And through all of it, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue stayed close without even seeming aware of it. At one point during the evening, someone asked them directly if everything between them was finally okay again. The room immediately became quiet, everyone waiting for the answer. Shen Yue looked at Dylan Wang briefly before speaking softly. She said sometimes people need silence to understand what words cannot explain. The room stayed silent after that sentence, because everyone understood exactly what she meant. Dylan Wang smiled quietly beside her, not denying it, not adding anything else, just accepting the moment for what it was. The final surprise came days later during the last official press event for the in 2026. Fans gathered outside in massive crowds hoping to see them together one more time before promotions ended. As they stood on stage answering questions, reporters noticed something different between them. The distance was gone, not replaced by exaggerated affection, but by comfort,
by ease,
by understanding. And during the final group photo, Dylan Wang instinctively moved closer to Shen Yue before the cameras flashed. A tiny moment, almost invisible, but enough to send fans into emotional chaos online once again. That image became one of the most shared photos of the year. Because after everything that happened, after the silence, after the tension, after the emotional distance, people finally saw something else. Connection. Not perfect, not simple, but real. And that is where the story truly ends. Not with dramatic confessions, not with public declarations, but with understanding. The kind built after silence forces two people to finally see each other clearly again. And now the only question that remains is this. Can silence destroy a connection completely, or can it sometimes become the exact thing that forces people to realize how much they truly matter to each other? If this continuation made your heart race and you want more emotional drama stories like this, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who understands that sometimes the deepest relationships are not the loudest ones. They're the ones that survive even after everything goes quiet.